The pre-employment interview, creating an environment conducive to truth-telling. We all understand that job applicants want to present themselves in the most favorable light possible, and that there's an inherent reluctance to disclose or discuss information that might be considered negative or suggestive of past undesirable job-related behaviors. Therefore, interviewers need to create an environment in which the individual is more likely to be open and honest about their past transgressions. To do so, we recommend that interviewers use an introductory statement that highlights 5 key elements. Nobody is perfect. You are expected to be truthful and honest during the interview. Everything we discuss is subject to verification. Any inconsistencies may jeopardize your chance for securing this position, and the information we discuss is only used for job evaluation purposes. So here's an example of the introductory statement including those elements. Jim or Mary, what I'd like to do this morning is to review with you your application to make sure that everything is complete and accurate. We're going to talk about a number of things: your employment history, your job skills and abilities, some of the situations that you've had to deal with at your past jobs, and the duties and responsibilities of the position that you are seeking here with us. If you have any questions at all as we go along, please don't hesitate to ask me. Now, before we get started, let me just verify some background information. Could you spell your name for me? What is your current address? How long have you lived there? What is your understanding of the position that you are applying for? And after some discussion regarding the position, work hours, responsibilities, etc., we would continue. The reason we start with these kind of biographical questions is to acclimate the subject to the interview process and to give us a chance to establish their basic behavioral baseline so we can look for changes later on in the interview process. So once we've done the biographical information, the introductory statement continues. Let me start out by explaining a little bit about our hiring process. I think the most important thing for you to understand is that we don't expect anyone to be perfect. I mean, if we're looking for perfect people, we wouldn't have any employees at all, so we all understand that. But we do expect you to be honest and truthful during the interview. I'd also like to mention that as part of our screening process, we are required to do a thorough background investigation. At a very minimum, we will contact past employers and we will make a number of various record checks, including, now this is where you put in what your organization does in terms of screening measures, whether it be a social security number verification, a check of criminal and civil records, driving history, verification of education and past employment. You may do drug screening, review of their social media. We want them to know everything we're going to look at. Now, for the truthful person, this is no big deal. They're not trying to hide anything or conceal any information to begin with, and they're confident that whatever checks we do will substantiate what they're telling us in the interview. It is the deceptive person now who anticipated fabricating some information or withholding relevant information, who now realizes that such a thorough background check very well may disclose the information they anticipated concealing. So oftentimes they decide to reveal the information during the interview so they can put their spin on it and present it in the most favorable light possible. So we want them to know all the steps we're going to take. Once we enunciate all of those steps, then the interview continues. Again, now the reason for taking all these steps in the background investigation is not to try to disqualify somebody, but it's simply a way to verify that what a person tells us during the interview is in fact accurate. Also, I don't want you to feel committed to the information you put on the written job application. It's very common a person may forget to list a job, they may leave out certain information because the application doesn't give them a chance to really explain the circumstances. What is important is that we discuss all of the information here today during the interview so that what we find from the background check matches and is consistent with what you tell us today, okay? Finally, everything we talk about today is confidential. No one has access to this information. It's only used to evaluate your qualifications for the position that you're looking for, okay? Now, this opening introduction that I just went through will take a few minutes to go through, but I can guarantee you it's the most important minutes you'll spend in the entire interview. It sets the stage for creating an environment that is more conducive to truth-telling than if we didn't use this kind of an opening introductory statement. For more information on pre-employment interviewing techniques, we offer a 3-hour virtual training program, Hiring the Best Applicant Interviewing Techniques, and we have produced an online video training program called the Reid Technique for Pre-Employment Interviewing Strategy. It's just a little bit less than an hour and a half. And you can find information about both of these programs on our website at reid.com. Thank you very much for taking a few minutes to listen to this presentation.